So what happens is people come, they get trained for 3 months, they stay for 6 months, and they leave. And then they have to start the hiring and training process all over again, right? So one of the things we're trying to figure out is, can you use a system like this to capture the information, the institutional learning that goes on from being good at a particular profession for a while, and then make it easier to get information out of the system, right? And since the system would be able to understand natural language, you could have a system online that allows you just to ask the question you want the answer to, right? And get it back without having to call the call center, right? So it's just one of those things that we think is, you know, it's not that dissimilar in thinking to when ATMs were created to offload the lines in a branch bank, right? All right, when ATMs were first created, it was because the teller lines were getting too long, right? ATMs used to be tied, they were basically the mechanical teller that was outside the door of the bank, and they were attached to the branch bank. Over time, they started to become mobile, and they went all over the place, and then the internet accessed them, and all these other things happened. But this is the same idea, is
actually,
that...
The real reason had to do with cost.
Yeah, it was cost. Right.
That's what drove it.
Yeah, when you look at the business case for it, the original business case was, you know, you don't want to hire more tellers because of the cost of having more tellers.
It was processing of all
Right.
paper and all the stuff behind the back office.
Right, but eventually, but even in the branch banks, the terminals in the branch banks started to do a lot of that processing as well. They still do today, but it's the labor cost. Yeah, the labor cost did a lot of the savings on this. But what happened over time is the banks actually turned it into a revenue source, because we get fees now to use the thing that they put in place to save money, right? So, right, because it became a service that was being provided, right? And so eventually we think these things are going to start to have the same effect over time. All right, in this case, it's just got the ability to analyze everything very, very quickly and come up with recommendations on courses of action. Now, what's interesting about this, because people would look at this and say, you just created something that's going to take away a lot of jobs, right? The reality is it's changing the nature of the work, right? One of the things that's been widely published lately, there's a lot of people talking about, Exxon had some great ads on during the Masters tournament, I don't know if you saw them, about the number of open jobs in the United States right now for people with math and science degrees. And one of the things we have to do is we have to continue to encourage children to stick with math and science, because the jobs of the future are going to be tied to it, right? This idea of probabilistic computers, understanding how all these things work, it's just the use of math and scientific knowledge. And we have to keep working with kids to focus on